Hey beautifuls! So today I am giving you guys, finally, a battle of the neutral drugstore eyeshadow palettes. Yep, we're going there. So I have been teasing about doing this for a while, pretty much since I got the Nudes palette, because I feel that it is a little bit comparable to the e.l.f. Baked Eyeshadow palette in Texas, and I just wanted to give you guys my little spin on what I think of all the eyeshadows. I've spent a great deal of time using both of them, especially the Nudes. I've been using this one a lot more lately, and I actually used this one and this one today on my eyes. So, if that influences your decision. But overall, I am a big drugstore makeup junkie. You guys know I'm pretty much like drugstore queen. Hey, you know, don't mess with me and my drugstore products. I'm not a big high-end user. My last video with the showing you guys the Miley Cyrus lipstick and lip gloss was, you know, it wasn't like it was pretty much me splurging on something. Like, I wanted that lipstick pretty much since I saw that it was going to come out, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go for it and I'm going to get it. So I did, and no regrets with that. But you guys know I'm pretty much mainly a drugstore beauty guru. I hope that there's never a point in time where I'm just like, oh, drugstore, because I love drugstore products. They're cheap. There's a lot of good ones out there, including eyeshadow. So without further ado, let's get into it. When you look at the packaging on both of these, they both have very different packaging. One looks more bulky than the other. These are both valued at the same price of $10. You can easily buy the Maybelline Nude palette, Walmart, Target, drugstores, anywhere. However, the e.l.f. Baked Eyeshadow palettes, I know they are sold online and eyeslipsface.com, and I know that they are in Target stores. I've seen them before. I'm not sure about, I know that Kmart carries e.l.f., but I'm not sure about these palettes. So let me know below, and then, you know, help other people too, because I'm not sure what other places you can get these besides Target and the website. So there's that. So first we're going to go into the Maybelline Nudes palette. Now this is the one, seriously, I've been using this one more than my e.l.f. baked ones. I don't know why. I think I'm just kind of giving it another chance. When I first bought it, I was a little skeptical about it. And I, of course, when I did buy it, I wasn't in the right state of mind, like you guys know, with my depression and stuff, and I was just kind of like, and I could not get these colors to blend. I felt that they weren't really the greatest in the world, but overall, this fall and winter, I've started to kind of get to know them and get a little better, you know, working with them and seeing how their formulas are. So this is what the palette looks like right there. You have a mix of matte colors and shimmery colors. There's, of course, a black and very white shimmery colors and some matte ones. They're all kind of mixed together. There's not like a row of shimmery and a row of matte, which I honestly would have really appreciated a lot more when they designed this palette. I know that they probably did this for looks or whatever the case, but if they did kind of put the shimmers together and put the mattes together, because I'm more of a shimmery eyeshadow user, as you guys can say, it's shimmery, but that's just me personally. But of course, you know, I think they just kind of have to even it out for both matte and shimmery shadow users. I honestly think that these shadows are pigmented, so I'm just going to swatch this black one right here, and I got lip gloss in my hair because I just filmed that video. Like I said, I have been using these for a while, so I feel like more shadows are shimmerier than others, I will be honest. I think that ones that I'm using more often, that I have kept going back to, are more pigmented, because I feel like there's like a film or something. You guys know when you first buy a shadow and sometimes it has like that weird, like, you're getting a little bit of it off when you swatch it or when you use a brush, but then you have to keep like dig into it to get the shadow going, that kind of a thing. So I do honestly really love the colors in this palette a lot. But I do feel like that some of them can easily be duped, and some of the colors aren't as pigmented. So I just swatched some random ones right there. As you guys can see, the brown one was probably the most pigmented out of all of them. I do admire What Would Lizzie Do, and she did say in one of her Friday Whoop Whoops and Womp video, I forgot which one it was, if I find it, I'll put it below, that she wasn't a fan of this palette because she didn't feel it was as pigmented as she thought it was going to be. And I do kind of agree with that, I will say. I think that these shadows are pigmented. A lot of them are very pigmented, like the darker colors, but the light ones are kind of hard to get going to work, if you guys get what I'm saying. So, like the shimmery colors, I tried to use this white shimmery one on my lid after I did my crease today, and it was just not having it. I did it twice, and then finally I had to go to my Baked Eyeshadow palette and use the white shimmery one in here to complete my eye look today. So if you guys kind of understand what I'm saying, like some of the colors are not as pigmented as some other ones, mainly the darker ones. The light ones are kind of hard to get going and to work. Probably 2 colors in this whole palette I have not used, which is probably this one right here and this one, but I did just swatch them and they seem like they're okay pigmented. I don't know, because I did just swatch them and they kind of feels like it has a film on it, which is kind of weird, like I said. But yeah, overall I do like these shadows. Overall, I do like this palette a lot. I just kind of have a harder time working with it. If I was going to use this palette, I think I would honestly use it more for the darker colors, like the black, the dark matte colors, the dark brown shimmery color, like just for that kind of reason. And same for the matte highlight color right here, which is what I have been using lately and today for my highlight color on my under my brow. But overall, I would honestly, if you guys were considering buying this, I would use it mainly for more for darker nude looks than light nude looks, because if you are one of those girls that you don't use a lot of shadow, a lot of nude, and you just kind of like to have a little bit of neutral color, like my friend Danielle, she just bought her first neutral palette. I'm so proud of her. Like she honestly is not going to use like black and dark brown and stuff, so if she bought this, it would be kind of pointless because those are the only colors I feel that are very, very pigmented, and the rest of them are kind of meh. Literally. Yeah. But then again, this is just my opinion. I don't know if it depends on each palette. I have no idea. I did hear that Maybelline is coming out with the Smokes and the Brights palette, so I am a little skeptical to get those. I may wait for reviews and to see what other girls think of them before I did purchase those. But yeah, like I said, I honestly, if it was up to me, I kind of wouldn't purchase this for everyday use, mainly for going out looks. Then now if we go back to the packaging, as you guys can see, there's a window. You can see all the colors in there. It says the Nudes, Maybelline. It's a very sleek, skinny packaging, and on the back it has like different ideas of how you can use all the colors, different eye looks, that kind of thing. Every Maybelline palette pretty much has this on the back of it. So I do like that a lot. The one thing that I really hate about this packaging, I'm a shadow mirror user, which means that I use the mirror in the palette when I do my shadow because it's easier for me. I don't have to get out my my little pink mirror and, you know, it's just a mess. There is no mirror in this palette, so that's kind of a bummer for me personally, since I love to use the mirror when I apply my shadow right from the palette. But overall, you know, it's just a mirror, whatever. But to me, it's just kind of a little bit of an inconvenience. So reasons why I don't really go towards this palette too often in the past was that, and some of the shadows were a little not as pigmented. Next we have my baby, which I will not be biased in this review. I swear. I know some reviews I've been a little bit, so I do apologize for that. I do. This is the Elf Baked eyeshadow palette in the color Texas. Hey, shout out to my girl, Amy. But I am in love with this palette. I've had it for over a year. It has never failed me. These are the neutral colors in it, so they are a little bit different than the Maybelline Nudes palette. There's not a black in there. There's not any taupey colors. It's mainly all shimmery shadow colors in there. And there's like a light pink and a gold and some other shades that are kind of similar to some of the ones in here, like with the dark browns and with the shimmery light peachy, not really peachy, what's the word I'm looking for? Highlighty color? I can't explain it. But you guys get what I'm saying. Some of the shadows in this palette are similar to the Maybelline Nudes palette, so I do admire that a lot. One of the things that I really love about this palette is that it does not break. Like, this is durable, which is something I like about the packaging. Let's go back to the packaging for a second. It does look very bulky, as you guys can see. It's a lot more bulky than the Maybelline Nudes palette. It has some, you know, it has some packaging to it so that, you know, if you drop it, if it falls, you know, whatever. I don't recommend dropping this from a 5-story apartment window, but you guys get what I'm saying. So if you happen to knock it off a table or something, it seems like this is pretty durable. It's not going to break. And of course there is a mirror in it, which I love my mirrors, like I just said, so there's that. What I really love is how easy these shadows are to blend out. The Nudes ones are easy to blend out as well. I kind of forgot to mention that, but it seems that every single shadow that I've used in this palette has been equally as pigmented as, you know, the one next to it. It's pretty much an equally pigmented palette, kind of not like this one where it's like I said, some of it is and some of it's not really. But I will swatch a few colors for you guys. I'm going to swatch these 2 brown colors. Since I have worn down a lot of these colors, a lot of them are easy to swatch now, but I will say that in the past it has been kind of hard to swatch these when I first got the palette, because it's kind of like you have to, same with the Nudes palette, you kind of have to work it to get it started. It's kind of like at first, like there's not a lot that comes off and then you gotta work it. So that's kind of how what I was faced with early on. So I'm just gonna finish swatching all the colors in the palette, because in this palette there's only 10 colors. In the Nudes there is 12. So just 2 more shadows in the other one. But all the way starting here is all of the colors that are swatched right here. If you guys can kind of tell the difference, like some of the colors here aren't as pigmented as the darker ones, and then down here a lot of them, a lot of the light ones you can see, some of them are kind of hard to see because, you know, they're light, but they're equally as pigmented. Each shadow is equally as pigmented, not like these where it's kind of like and that one's like crazy pigmented, and so are these, and that one's kind of not. So you guys kind of get what I'm saying about the pigmentation. That's a big thing for me, because I hate buying a shadow palette and some of the colors are amazing, they work great, like Wet n Wild pigmentation, yeah, and then some of them are just like, they don't work at all. Really? It's like, really? Come on, get it together. Like, make all your shadows colors the same formula. I do really like how this palette is set up, because you go from your darker brown colors, and then you have a gold, and then your light white shimmery colors, and your shimmery lighter browns, and then a pink right here, which I do really like a lot, because it seems like the palette colors are kind of in order. Kind of not like this. They're kind of, for me, it feels like they're kind of all over the place in this palette, but maybe that's just me. But I really admire that about this one as well, and they're easy to blend out, just like the Maybelline ones. But like I said, pigmentation's a big thing for me. So if you want a shadow palette that is pigmented and shadows that are pigmented and that will last, I recommend this one. Just everything about this palette I love, and I definitely, when I hit pan, I will be purchasing a new palette, because I honestly have I don't really have any problems with this palette, honestly, compared to the Nudes palette. Like I always say in these videos, it's honestly up to you guys and to your personal preference, where you live, all that kind of crap, to determine which shadow is the best for you, which palette's the best, you know, which product, because that's kind of how I like to do my battle videos. I don't like to say, this one's better than this one, because I feel like each makeup product is great in their own way, and it just depends on the person, your skin type, you know, what you like for shadow colors, all that kind of crap. So that's kind of where I stand. If you guys are wondering like how I do my battle videos, that's just kind of how I think of it. Like, even though some of the shadows aren't great in here, some of the dark ones are amazing, and I definitely will keep using them. But I like this one. And also with the packaging, like I said, since it's a complete closure, if you happen to have more than one of these baked eyeshadow palettes like I do, sometimes it gets a little confusing to see which palette is which, even though the name is on the back. It's really, really small back there, but it does say Texas. That's kind of one factor I think that's kind of a pain, since I have the NYC one and now I have Texas. Sometimes I end up grabbing the wrong palette, but it's not really that big of a deal. They're both pretty much the same packaging, which I don't mind really, because what matters to me is the colors inside of it. But sometimes it does throw me off a little bit in my makeup drawer, and I'm just like, oh, this isn't the one, let me get the other one. That's just kind of like a little minor cosmetic thing. Now that I'm done babbling, this pretty much part is up to you guys, of which you think which eyeshadow palette is better for you. Are you more into the Nudes, or are you more into the baked eyeshadow palette? I honestly do love both of these a lot. Like I said, I think each palette is great in their own way, so I definitely will be continuing to use both of these. I honestly can't really pick a winner because I use both. But if someone was putting, you know, was like, you need to choose now, right now, or we take them all away. I'm probably just gonna have to go with the baked, just because even though there's not a black and matte colors in it, it's very pigmented, it's easy to blend, they're very workable, and they last all day. That's a big thing for me as well. Usually when I use some shadows, I don't know if it's my primer or what, but it creases or it all becomes one color. Like, I guarantee you guys, by the end of the night, this shadow right now will become one color by 10, 11 o'clock tonight. I'm not kidding you. So I don't know if it's my primer, I don't know what, but a long-lasting, awesome shadows. I honestly will still probably stick with my e.l.f. baked eyeshadow palettes. but that's just me and what I like in my situation. So that was my battle of the Drugstore Nude eyeshadow palettes. Let me know what you guys think of these palettes. If you think one is better than the other, you know, definitely let me know below. If you've had different experiences with them, I would definitely like to know as well, because mine could be different from someone else, and I don't want someone to be like, oh, I'm gonna get the nudes just for night out, and then their palette is either extremely more pigmented, or I had a bad palette, or it didn't work for them, or whatever the case. So just go on your better judgment is all I'm gonna say. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will definitely do more battle videos in the future if you guys want, so like the video. And I will see you guys in my next one.